to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, where we continue the Spooktober edition of Cinema Surprise. This week is Joseph's pick with Bram Stoker's Dracula, originally released on November 13th, 1992, written from the novel, adapted from the novel by, of course, Bram Stoker. And my phone's been acting all fuckety, so I'm assuming it's written by Francis Ford Coppola. It wouldn't be. That'd be stupid. Who would assume that? James V. Hart wrote the screenplay. It's directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. So we got you a little bit of a first viewing under the belt. Whenever you brought it up last week, I didn't make my love for the movie a mystery. How'd you feel about it?
No, I'm joining you. This is this. I don't know if I'm just ignorant to this genre of horror, and I think I am. But I'm learning that I love every kind of horror there is, pretty much. Like I've known that I'm a horror fan, but this specifically, like whenever you can meld, it feels like a play. You know, it doesn't really feel like a movie in reality, which I think just works better for horror in general, so that you can suspend belief easier, I feel like, a little bit. But like that, it looks fantastic. Like, I mean, it's like a painting at sometimes. And I mean, just the camera work and just the effects and liberties taken of all the shadows and his eyes popping up in the sky, or like, I love all these effects. And like, so, I mean, this was just firing on all cylinders, and not to say that I have, I don't know, Anthony Hopkins, Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, and Gary Oldman. I guess, I don't know, Dracula himself. It's kind of hard to see him through it, you know, and if he's not in his young mode, he really disappears.
Incredible makeup, yeah. Incredible makeup. Won 3 Oscars, this movie, for costume design, makeup, and visual effects.
Perfect. I like that. Yeah. I guess, it'd be nice if an actor could have gotten something, but no, as the grand scope of the movie, it was just awesome to watch. And like it felt just very like I was I don't know, watching a play, like I was on Broadway just watching this Dracula play at points, and it's not quite musical, but man, it almost felt like it. And that's like in a really good way. Like it felt just so fantastical. I don't know, or like especially the opening, like whenever we're just setting the scene of old time, it's 14 whatever and kings and this battle. You know, I'm going off to fight and I'm not making it back. And I don't like it was just awesome. The whole stabbing.
That opening sequence was like originally conceptualized as being done with shadow puppets, and they kind of allude to that later on whenever they're at the cinematograph, and the wolf breaks out and they're like running for their lives, and there's this little image on the wall of like shadow puppetry going on. The opening sequence was originally conceptualized to be played out that way, and then Francis Ford Coppola was like, why would I do that? Why not just let me run fucking wild with this thing? Because that's what he's want to do. He's got quite the vision, Francis Ford Coppola. And it paid off big time here. I agree. Whenever you get a movie that's like a tragic, horror, romantic, gothic fantasy, inject that shit into my veins, dog. Are you fucking kidding me? That's sick. That's incredible. And I love the aesthetics. I love the way the movie looks. I love how stylish it is. It's incredible. It's oozing an aura. Like it just has it in abundance. It knows exactly what it is, and it's not afraid of it. It's incredible. I really do love it. And like you said, with a cast like this, it's hard not to. I know you mentioned the heavy hitters there, but we also got Cary Elwes and we got Richard E. Grant, who you've also seen in a couple things at this point too. That was one of the Lokis from Loki is Richard E. Grant. and he's in
Yes.
The Rise of Skywalker. But and tons of other things. I was just like, those are the more popular things he's been in. But
Felt like there was something else with him though. Like it's not the Loki. I knew him as the Loki, but I'm like, what is the other thing? And it just hasn't quite hit. Maybe it is the Star Wars. I don't know. Yeah, General Pride. I don't remember.
yeah, I mean, he's like the main First Order, the main Final Order implant in the First Order.
I was on the wrong side. Okay, yeah, that was. I was thinking he was on the good side.
No, he's a bad guy. He's the one who like communes with Palpatine in the shadows on his own, like kind of conspiring against Hux. He's the one who shoots Hux whenever he finds out, that he's a spy and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that. Okay. That kind of does it. But yeah, no. The whole cast. It's crazy that Keanu Reeves is the person who's sidelined for the movie, or like that kind of gets pushed under the rug a little bit.
Oh yeah. And when it comes to the performances on display, I love Keanu Reeves with all my heart. That's no mystery. We've made it the personality of one of the sign-off line on our original Penny Bloom podcast for years was peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. And I'm going to praise the character of Jonathan Harker, but Keanu Reeves is like a square peg in a round hole here. Francis Ford Coppola's reasoning for casting Keanu was also kind of empty. Also, he wanted to put asses in seats. He wanted a hot young guy to play Jonathan Harker, and Keanu Reeves was the biggest movie star on the face of the planet at the time. And I think I appreciate what he's bringing to the role. I think that his kind of clueless naivete kind of adds a layer to it. There's a sweetness about him that I think plays into Harker really well, just naturally coming off of Keanu. But the accent's horrendous. And the literal presenting of the dialogue that he has to do, he does enough and he gets by. And that's why in the back half of the movie, I think he's better than when he is super present and basically the focal point of the movie. The more he gets like withered and aged and tired, I think the better Keanu is at it.
Yeah, I just don't. I think on this movie, it's the biggest display of that he talks so loud, but while whispering at the same time.
Yes, he has that. He has that voice about him. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. He's so pronounced, but also
and especially
so
with the accent he is doing, because it's also like there is an accent, and then there are lines where you're like, "Is there an accent?" And you're like, "Yeah, there's an accent." Yeah. So I all that to say, I love Keanu Reeves a lot. But this movie, it's one of those rare times where for me, he is the weak link. I think that there's a, and that's just because there's a lot to love though. Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing is incredible. Gary Oldman as Dracula it's Gary Oldman. He's one of the best living actors. He's fucking incredible. So like him as Dracula is a shoo-in, and Winona Ryder is a godsend. I fucking love that woman. She's one of those actors. There's this class of actors who, whenever I watch a movie with them in it, I find myself in the days after watching more movies with that person in it. And Winona Ryder is one. Humphrey Bogart is another one, for example. So like it's a very limited cache of actors there, and she's definitely in it. 'Cause I mean, Heathers, Beetlejuice, more recently Gone into the Night, and Destination Wedding with Keanu Reeves. Also, that's a fun little romantic comedy. She's done just so much great stuff and so much ass stuff, but she's always good, and that's what I love about her.
I think was it this Keanu was on some late night show, and they asked him, did you know that this actress actually had a crush on you during the making of the movie? And he was like, oh, that's the weird thing. Like, I also had a crush on her during the making of the movie. And I think, was it this? Or I don't know, maybe... There
is an incredible behind-the-scenes story here. I don't know that this is the one they're talking about. I would believe it. They're both very, very big stars at the time. They're both massively attractive people. It would make sense. They have a lot of chemistry and a lot of time together and a lot of time apart, but they still text each other on like birthdays and stuff. Like, she calls him husband and he calls her wife. Because the scene where they shot their wedding was shot in a Greek Orthodox church and was done with an actual officiant. And while in the eyes of the law, they might not be married, in the eyes of God, they might well could be. So like,
wow.
they are spiritually tied according to this religion, which is funny.
That is
technically in the eyes of God, married,
which
is hysterical.
They're married. Hey, before taxes and before governments, that's all marriage was. You didn't have to actually go to the freaking office and do anything different. You know, it was just hey, this is what we're doing now. And so, yeah, no, they're married. To me, no, that's all I need. I love this couple. And I don't know, but yeah, no, he kind of just gets, kind of sidelined a little bit. I mean, like, whenever you're competing against the story of eternal love, and like this, like she's also being very manipulated at points, but then, I don't like, I will say, like, the first and second act, I have like zero problem with any, the end, I don't know, not that it lost me a little bit, but like it just wasn't, it didn't feel like it was the same as the first two acts. And I don't know what it is. Like maybe it was just it's a lot
quicker.
More happening, and there's a lot of just action.
It's much quicker. A lot develops very quickly in that. It's kind of like the Avengers assembling too. Like everyone's on the same team, everyone's on the same page, and we're like, oh shit, we're building to the final battle. The battle happens, it's over. And I do like the resolution. I like the end of this movie. Like the last couple minutes are incredible. And don't get me wrong, I also like the last act, but I agree that it is the weak link of the film, structurally. I think that the breathing room we get in the first act, the building of Jonathan Harker and the history of Elisabetta and Mina's tie to Dracula and him longing for her, and there being this weird, I like the mysticism and the vagueness of the connection Mina and Elisabetta actually possess. Like, I like that it's never, the movie leaves you going, well, it must be like a reincarnated spirit sort of thing. Like she's rolled over and she's continued. And I do appreciate that. I love that angle of like, eternal love, and it's hopelessly romantic. And I think that that's something that a lot of adaptations of Dracula and vampires generally could use. I think that they're supposed to be longing. I think it's supposed to be sad. I think it's supposed to be tragic. And a lot of vampire stories do play with that. But this is one of those rare movies where Dracula isn't as much a villain as he normally is. And don't get me wrong, he's not a good guy. I'm not trying to say that, but like, there's motives, the motives there you can kind of understand, which is an interesting way to paint, the Prince of Darkness, if you will.
Because the movie I'm comparing it to is just my introduction to this story. I guess I had Christopher Lee's Dracula, that actually,
right.
But no, that came after, I guess, Nosferatu. But yeah, the new Nosferatu is just so much hornier, and maybe that's why there's not this like true romantic angle that we get in Nosferatu. It is just kind of like, nah, that dude's just Dracula and he's horned up, and I don't like.
No, and I've only watched that movie once in theaters. I desperately need to revisit it, and I almost certainly will this month at some point. But
I don't see it.
I don't recall there being as tangible a connection between Nosferatu and Lily Rose Depp. I don't remember there being like a reason he chose her. It was just kind of like, you are the one I'm horny for.
She called out to him. At the beginning of the movie, she was like,
I want you to bounce on it crazy style.
Yes.
That was his whole vibe. And You're right. There is a connection there, but I can't remember what it was founded in. And, I'm not going to go compare and contrast and say that there wasn't one, but, I don't recall it if there was.
Mm-hmm. I think it was
just
her at the beginning of the movie. She was so desperate or so lonely, and she was just like, I want sex.
Yearning.
Like, she was
I'm
like,
yearning.
I need my needs filled. And then he was like, okay, I'll do it.
Bet.
And then
that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this connection was so much cooler of, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is, it's based on, the book or, like, is this like a very, very close telling of it? Because I feel like Nosferatu.
No.
Oh, really?
No. What I love about adaptations of Dracula and Nosferatu is that the base elements are always there. And this is a better adaptation than a lot of Dracula stories. But I read this book about a year ago, actually, after watching this movie.
Okay.
And there are a lot of like, there's plenty that's like word for word ripped, like, oh yeah, that like painting images on screen that I can so perfectly live up to the pages of the book. But I think that the movie adaptations allow a lot more interesting character to be created for Dracula. When it comes to the book, the most interesting characters is usually Jonathan Harker. For me anyway, it was Jonathan Harker, and it was, the humans. In this movie, I think Dracula is the most interesting character. Which is not something that is typically the case. And I think that's something that like Nosferatu and the previous Nosferatu adaptations, because the only other one I've seen besides the one from last year is the original one from like 1927. Nosferatu is just kind of a monster, or the count. I can't remember what the character's name is off the top of my head right now, but I know it's not Nosferatu, but, it's just kind of this image of evil, and that's kind of it.
Yep.
Same with previous Dracula adaptations. You think back to Christopher Lee, the Hammer film productions Dracula, and you kind of go, yeah, he's just kind of...
He's who he is.
He's just kind of who he is. The 1931 Dracula, the Universal Studios Dracula, same thing there. That's why I love this. I love this adaptation because it just gives Dracula himself a lot more to go on.
Yeah, he definitely is the character of the movie, and I texted you of that. I came away loving Anthony Hopkins or his character the most.
Van Helsing,
more of just like the side character that I love the most. Like the movie is, I feel like, obviously Dracula and Mina. That's what I care about actually the most. But then whenever he gets inserted and he's just, I don't know, going through and he's crazed at first and they're not really believing him, but they're still like, he is a doctor, we'll let him do his whatever. And then like they get to the point where it's like everything coming out of his mouth they fully believe, and they're like, holy shit, we are up against the fucking
we're fucked.
And just Anthony Hopkins is just incredible.
You gotta love him.
You gotta love him. The other part of my brain is just inserting Willem Dafoe just into this role and see, like, he's, right. I don't know, just these two people in this role, Anthony Hopkins and Willem Dafoe, kind of playing this similar. I guess their names are different, but they very much so just the occult doctor. I absolutely love. It's like my favorite, I don't know, the Ultron of my Dracula MCU a little bit. Is just, I love this character for I don't know why. And it's just, every time he was on screen, I was just so happy. And he just, and maybe, this was a very light Dracula movie. Like, I could laugh at points, and it was tragic.
Dude, the line whenever he asks him to bring him post-mortem tools, and he's like, what, for an autopsy? He's like, no, I just want to shove a stake through her heart and cut off her head. That's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, he's like, damn, just barrier. We just got through mourning. Or
Yeah,
we're all
like
crying
we're at
right
the
now.
funeral
Yeah,
right now. Yeah, you were talking about cutting off her. He's like, I'm just saying, dude. Like, we got to.
I mean,
do
like,
it.
obviously, it's like, whoa, he just come on. Not even for autopsy purposes.
He's like, you want to perform an autopsy? He's like, no. The fuck? Why would I want to do that? No. I just want to cut off her head and stick a stake in her heart.
And then he tells that to Mina later on of like, hey, what did you do to her? Did she go peacefully? No, actually.
No, definitely not.
We sat, I don't know what, like he said it so bluntly of just stake through the heart, cut off her head, set her afire, or set her ablaze, or I don't know what he said.
Yeah, not much bedside manner on Van Helsing here. Van Helsing has also been portrayed, I mean, several times over Van Helsing has been portrayed, but there's a 2005 film titled Van Helsing.
What?
And it is played by Hugh Jackman. So, you're going to have to check that out. It's not a critical masterpiece. It's kind of like an action adventure version of the character, which is super cool too. He's more vampire hunter versus vampire occult doctor. Which is stereotypically what Van Helsing has come to be as a vampire hunter in most people's minds. But, it's a fun one. It's a super fun movie. I like that one a lot. Not nearly as good as this, but very, very fun.
That's another.
But yeah, and it was Count Orlok, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly about Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I think it was Count Orlok. It was going to kill me unless I figured it out on my own. So I've been thinking about it in the background all the while. It's Count Orlok. So.
I have the page open
if
you need any other names in there.
What's funny is I feel like I remember Willem Dafoe's character a little bit more. It's like Von Ehrling.
His name's very long. There is a Von in there though.
There is a Von. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know then.
Albin Eberhard von Franz.
Von Franz.
Eberhard? Yeah, I don't know.
Eberhard.
Yes, but
Eber.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Hutter is Jonathan Hutter to Harker, and Orlok to Dracula, and all this good stuff. There's a very obvious.
Yes.
They basically made the original 1927 Nosferatu film as a means to dodge copyright. They just wanted to make a Dracula movie, and they couldn't get the rights to it, and they were just like, well, fuck it then. I'm going to make this, which is fundamentally the same thing, just very, very different names. And sometimes not even that different.
Like the original movie is still based on the book too, right? Like the book came first. So like, what is there? I hate this claim of like, oh, I made movie and I that name is mine now. But it's like you took it from, I don't know, like all this hoops that you got to jump through for art. But yeah, like this. Like a movie, like I don't know. This is what movies are for. Yeah, like for me, a large proponent at least of what movies are for. And
whenever I think of like the shit Nicole Kidman's talking about in the beginning of an AMC movie,
yes.
Whenever she's like, "We come to this place for magic,"
for magic,
for magic. The stories feel real and powerful, and fantasy worlds become real and. Songs soar through me and the sound is, like all that. Every once in a while there are movies that I watch where I'm like, yeah, that's what she's talking about. This is one of them, it's all of that. It's so good.
The magic of the movies. I mean, they do got it right. It does happen.
Look at me on Keith Urban. I'm going to divorce Nicole Kidman because she wants to fuck me so bad. Pussy.
Damn. Nicole Kidman, ever since blue was it Blue Velvet? Yeah.
That's Laura Dern.
Nope. Wrong. Wow. Wait, that's crazy. That's like
Batman Forever, maybe? Are you thinking of Batman Forever?
Maybe?
She's in that with Val Kilmer.
But wow. No, I think I was mixing up the two. Very. I don't know.
Laura Dern also great. Laura Dern.
Yes,
I prefer Laura Dern, but I do love Nicole Kidman.
But this, I don't know, this new trio that you told me of Van Helsing or Hugh Jackman joining the mix with Willem Dafoe and Anthony Hopkins, it does feel right.
Quite the lineage.
Even though if the movie's not all that, I don't know. That's
no, it's fun as fuck though, and it's playing like
fun.
I would recommend watching the 30s like the Universal horror movies first, just because they're playing on the aesthetics of those while modernizing it and adapting it for now. And I think it's I think they're overhated. I don't think that they're as bad as everyone says. I don't think that this movie, Van Helsing, is overhated. I don't think it's, sorry. I'm going to start over. The Van Helsing movie is overhated. The other Universal monster movies, they're not hated basically at all. That's that. I just wanted to make it clear that I wasn't talking about those. But
that's at least where my interest lies mostly, is with this older genre of horror, because this is, I guess it came out in the 90s, but this doesn't really feel that 90s. I mean, it does help that we're well back in time. It's a different time period.
It's a period piece.
Damn, the outfits. Thank God they won costume design, because they were fucking
gorgeous.
cooking.
It's gorgeous, dude.
But yeah, like this is just a timeless movie. It didn't it did just modernize and innovate, but kept all of the good feel of the classic old horror in there, and just this beyond time sort of story. And like Nosferatu feels like that does feel too modern, I'd say now, like after seeing like how this one feels just a little more timeless than Nosferatu. And even though they're both in the same time period, I don't know this.
No, I get what you mean, and I think that there is an element to it where using 90s filmmaking to adapt a story that feels older is a really, really great way to make a story feel timeless. Like another one of my favorite, again, I think an overhated movie, is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh. It's got Robert De Niro as the monster, Helena Bonham Carter as the bride, as it were. Kenneth Branagh is Dr. Frankenstein. It's a really, really, it's obviously trying to do what this movie did for Dracula, but with Frankenstein. And it's not as good, but I still love what it's doing. I still love the grandeur of it, and having the budget and modern effects of the 90s, adapting stories that were most famously told in the 30s and the 50s, and then blowing them up way bigger than they've ever been before. It's a great idea, and I love the way that it paid off here. And I think that it's gorgeous, man. I think it's one of Francis Ford Coppola's best looking movies. It's my personal favorite Coppola. I don't know that it's not his best. You know, Godfather and 2 are too good. Apocalypse Now is ridiculous. He's made a lot of great fucking movies. But when it comes to a casual revisitability, I can come back to this routinely.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say this is top 1, and I mean, maybe it's just been too long since I've watched The Godfather and those movies, but like, this is just the type of movie that I prefer a whole lot more. I feel like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, I gotta pay attention. I gotta be on that whole movie. You know, I'm not looking away for a single fucking second. And it's more of like a respect of the movie, to give it the respect it deserves a little bit. But here, my eyes are glued to the screen just anyways. It's not like that. It is like I feel like I must pay attention to get everything in the movie. It's just, it's that much fun, and that I'm enjoying it that much that I don't want to look away. So like I thought I was starting this new thing where I was going to like take notes during the movie and like in my Letterboxd review. So I'd have some like in movie thoughts as well as my post thoughts. Cause sometimes I think like, oh, I'll put that in my review later, and then I completely forget. But no, I ran into this problem of I never wanted to pick up my phone during the movie one time. I feel like that's I don't like that idea anyways of wanting to pick up my phone to put something down. So no, I was just too into this movie, I feel like, and I just, when it was over is finally just when I got up and I'm like, okay, no, I don't have any more.
No,
like,
that's right.
A movie over. So it was.
I love the credit song, by the way. Fucking gorgeous.
Soundtrack.
It's such a vibe. I love everything about the movie, man. I think that again, one of those mixed reception ones where it's like some people don't get it, some people think it's gauche and over the top, and to each their own, but it just works for me, man. I love surrendering to a sweeping romantic tragedy like this, and then you add this gothic horror element, and I'm in. I love, again, going back to those effects that are in the movie. I really adore it. I love the overlays. I love the image of the pages opening and the train chugging by in the background and the eyes in the sky. And, there's the moment whenever Gary Oldman's Dracula is shaving Keanu Reeves, John Harker, and the walls move in. That's not a camera trick. That's literally the set. They are moving the walls.
That's cool.
It's incredible.
Design. Did they win for? I guess I don't remember
They got nominated for art direction, but I don't think they got anything for production design, which is kind of wild, all things considered, because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous movie, production wise.
But yeah, that's very. I mean, nothing took me out of it. I guess there was everything, and maybe it was because it was that play. It gave off a play-like feeling, which like you kind of the stage of a play is like you obviously know you're looking at a stage and whatever you must suspend belief if you want to like truly enjoy the show,
immerse yourself in it.
And I think like it just works so well for a movie. It just adds to the immersion if you can get away with it being set like or like I don't know, kind of. But then the set does blend away. Like eventually it is like at points we're not on a set. I don't know, and it does feel. Maybe that is I don't know, more my immersion, or I think I'm actually in it. But yeah, like I'm looking at every freeze frame. Like no, there's some shots that are actually just like out in nature, or like that just look really damn good, or like things like that. There's not really a set involved, but no, I mean, yeah, every single freeze frame of this movie is just, I mean, damn. The outfits are always there. The freaking, like, the way that shaving scene, whenever he looks back and licks the blade, and, like, you see, I don't know, like, it's just framed so well. They're...
Gary Oldman was drunk filming that, which is funny.
What?
That's another
drunk
good
on blood, bro.
Yeah, they filmed it. They filmed it at like 1 a.m. and Gary Oldman was fucked up, and they did it was like on purpose. They were like, this would be fun. Let's get you nice and fucked up. There's a few stories like that with Francis Ford Coppola's methodology to get actors like in the mindset. So he had Gary, and I don't know if that was one where he had Gary Oldman get drunk or something, but I imagine it didn't take that much coaxing. But there's, when it comes to Richard Grant, Cary Elwes, and forgive me, I can't remember the Texan's real name. But those three actors went on a series of quote unquote adventures together to build their camaraderie. They like went horseback riding together and took a hot air balloon up in the air and stuff, like in their own time, like not like we're going to film this. No, like it's yep. Like you guys go do these activities for us while we film this, and then come back and we'll get you all dolled up and we'll do some fun stuff. But yeah, like I love that you can kind of feel that. I love that you can feel the like the vibe between those guys.
At the end there, yeah, they're
homies. Van Helsing and Harker and all of them coming together. Like that shit's dope. I love that stuff.
Don't use your shooter, with your bullets won't damage them. Use your big Bowie knife or what, and just.
I wasn't planning on getting that close. Yeah, it's
The exorcism starts now, and then they all just start banging on the fucking boxes of his corrupted earth. Yeah, that was a cool thing. I feel like that was maybe in Nosferatu a little bit, but he just infected the rats or some shit like that. And but I liked this idea of just shoveling boxes of your earth that you can just come out of, like a new version of you can just be born, and that was like he could just be like his young self, but then it seemed that if like the less he loved, the more he went into beast form a little bit. Like it was the second he went crazed or anything, it was like he turned white, or then he turned more into the wolf, and I liked that he could appear as kind of anything
you wanted. Yeah.
That was really cool, because in Nosferatu it felt like it was just his regular form and then a shadow form, and that, I don't know, it didn't really feel like they played with that too much, but it felt like...
I love the shadows in this. I love the way the shadows look like, and I'm so curious practically how they pull that off.
Yeah, like Gary Oldman walking around, like, I mean, he said he wanted to do the opening with shadow puppets, and I feel like they have to be using some form of a puppet here, or like this is, it's not...
Oh yeah, something like it.
But yeah, it was...
that image of the shadow reaching for Harker behind him, and then him appearing on the other side of him and stuff like that's sick, man. I love stuff like that, and yeah, no, I love Winona Ryder. I love Sadie Frost. Underrated part of this movie is Lucy. There's never been a woman who's played horny more convincing. I mean, just
oh my God,
wants it.
Yeah,
it's
and every guy wants it too. Actually,
oh yeah, everybody does. Yeah,
returning it.
They understand. Yeah, they understand. Everybody in this movie understands the assignment. Get horny. Get H for anybody.
She literally had a love quad, and not just a triangle.
Those boys we were talking about all wanted her, all in love with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them were like, I would like to marry you. And then she was like, I'm going to marry this guy you guys haven't met yet. And he's like, and they're like, oh, okay.
All right. I guess we'll still stick around, actually. We're not leaving.
We ride for Lucy. Yeah, we ride for Lucy. It's okay. No, I love that shit, man. I think it's so fucking good. And I think what I really love is how much it understands the inherent, like, sensuality of vampirism. I think that's one of the most compelling parts of vampire stories. Like, why are vampire movies so sexy? It's because they literally kiss you to death. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they suck on you.
Jugular, out of your neck, out of your main artery. I mean, like, come on. How can, like... It's kind of like
it's inherently sensual.
Yeah, like kind of how you say, like, oh my God, that baby's so cute, I just want to squeeze them, or I just want to eat them. It's like, why do we think that? Why do we go there? But I feel like the ultimate love, to that extreme is like, I just want to fucking kiss you so hard that I actually suck all the life out of you, But that's I don't
know. And that's what there are a lot of movies that play with concepts like that I find really, really compelling. Like, tangentially related and not stories of vampirism, but they play on the same notes, are like it's a weird genre and it's very specific, and I've only seen a couple movies in this realm, but romantic cannibalist movies. Bones and All with Timothy Chalamet, and directed by Luca Guadagnino, and that movie is incredible, and it is so romantic, and it's so sensual, and it's about these two lovers who eat people, and like how they have to cope with day-to-day life. Trouble Every Day is another one. Claire Danes, an incredible movie from the early 2001, I think. And that one's a little bit more vague. There are people who think it might be a vampire movie. Wow. But like they never explicitly go, and yep, she's a vampire. You know what I'm saying? So like, it just looks like she eats blood. But yeah, like great movies with like incredible concepts where it's like, I don't know, the line between perversion and, I don't know what the perversion and romantics. It's something that they play with in How I Met Your Mother. It's called the Doppler-Dahmer theory, where it depends on the recipient of a gesture. Where like if say you surprise someone at their house, you throw the pebbles off of their window like like Doppler at the end of Say Anything. And you play music from a boombox. If the person who you are throwing the pebbles at is into you, that comes off sweet. But if not, it comes off serial killer crazy, like Jeffrey Dahmer. Yep. And I like the line there and finding it in movies with much more complicated themes like vampirism and, cannibalism and shit. Like that's dark. Yeah. I like stuff like that.
Because to most people, I guess there are cannibals that are out there, but we draw the line at human beings. You do not eat a human being. At that line, that is weird. But why a cow? Why, it's same meat.
Right.
They bleed the same. We just cook it up. And there is a shot in the movie of they go from cutting off a head to just a big ass hunk of meat that they're, that he's chopping up and eating. And it's they're, what's just because it's us, I don't want to eat any humans,
No, I never. Yeah, no, I'm a straight up vegetarian. But it's one of those. Another funny connection I can make is, have you ever heard of Solar Opposites? It was made by the same dudes who did Rick and Morty. It's on Hulu and same animation style and everything.
I've seen I haven't watched it, but I've seen the ads.
I love that show. Yeah. I love that show. It's so funny. Me and Emily have been rewatching it, and every title sequence they do their title sequence where they explain where they came from and how they ended up on Earth and stuff. And at the end of it, the main character always drops this one funny line, and then it does a musical sting, and they cut to the episode. And one of them is humans are so confusing. Why are some animals pets and some of them they eat? Why can't you eat all the animals? What's wrong with you? And then they cut away, and because it's an alien, he doesn't understand. Yeah. But to speak to what you're talking about, it is fun. It is funny the way we draw lines and decide what is appropriate and isn't appropriate to feed on.
Because we do take life to give us new life. That is, they're saying, and it's blood and it's, they're literally sucking blood, whatever. But no, we do the same thing. In whether it is a plant, still that is once alive before, but now feeding you. So it's this, you do need life to fuel life, but this line, where do you draw the line? And the fact that it is different for every person. You do have people that don't eat meat. For that a very further down the line than a lot of other people, and it's I don't know. I think that they don't really get into that. I don't think here too much. It's more
not strictly
for vampires actually, and for the love story here. But no, this is at least if I had to theory, there's not much theory juice in the movie, which usually is a big proponent of me liking it. But if there's zero theory ability and I love the movie, then it's something's going really
right.
That
good.
Yeah, it's something's really going right.
Yeah.
So.
No, and one of the things that I love with vampire stories is the inherent isolation and lonesomeness of eternity, of being alive forever. It's super sad, and I love the idea of Dracula. He's I am the last of my kind. He's the last. He is the last of his kind. He's the only, as far as he knows, only vampire besides his brides who pop up out of the bed. And bite Keanu Reeves' junk.
Damn. Bro got eesh. Or maybe
literally sucked his soul out.
I don't know. I don't know how to read that. He seemed that it hurt at first and it was a big shock, but then it was
and
kind of
whoa. And that's why I'm again, they play with the sensuality of vampirism. There's a lot of that. I really, really dig it. And but regardless, I love the way they play with the isolation stuff, him longing for Elizabeth 400 years after she's gone. That's so romantic and so tragic. And I love that when Harker arrives and he has this picture of Mina, it brings it all back for him. He cries and he thinks about her longingly, and then he's well, I've got an idea. Gotta go get me some Mina.
This, the whole, this just added so many different layers onto Dracula, in the titular character of the movie, which felt I feel I know this is a clear win over Nosferatu, but I feel I will enjoy Nosferatu a whole lot more after watching this one now. But this, I don't know, just gives so much more to his character, and you actually have that, the opening, establishing that he was just a normal guy, and a king, or I guess he was a king, not just any
relative
guy, but not,
he was mortal,
and it was this misunderstanding, really, he thought he was betrayed by God. I guess it really just betrayed by that guy, whoever shot that arrow that said, you're dead, and then your wife killed you. So I don't.
And that's beef right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
eternal beef. I mean, I see why he is.
Like, not just to be like, I'm gonna get that motherfucker, but to be like, for that motherfucker to have been like, you know what? I'm gonna convince his wife to kill herself. Yeah. Like that feels outside the bounds of war. You know what I'm saying? Like that's beef. Yeah. That's crazy. He's like, he's dead. Let's see what she does. Like that's wild. That's out of pocket. And then to take the next step, as Vlad does, and be like, I'm going to become immortal. Like the fact that this was just like at his disposal, that he was like, I know what I got to do. I'm going to stab this crucifix and drink the blood.
Yes. It's like a known thing. Everyone knew this was like a thing that
they were like, whoa, don't do that. And he's like, I'm going to do it.
This blood that's just been waiting in here, it's been waiting for anyone to do it, but no one's done it in all of time. Yeah, no, it was awesome. The opening and him just, I renounce your God, and I had whatever, and then like the culmination of it, whenever the boys finally confront him up in there, he's like, look at what your God has made me, and he's like in his full form, and like that form, like, man, the costumes were
incredible. Incredible makeup, incredible costumes. Like, unbelievable. And that culmination, like you said, whenever Mina protects him, Mina, and Harker loves her enough to be like, leave them, like, let's let them ride this out. We got them. We did what we needed to do. They've got stuff to seal. And then her being the one who does the final blow, and dude, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous ending to a really, really great movie. And
Gary Oldman, actually, like he gets younger, or like the light kind of returns into him before he fully goes, and he's like, just that I don't know, just dying, or just he didn't know what death was like for so long, and the fact that he actually had closure now, and I don't know, it is ending for real. I don't know, and everything just came back. It was like the perfect way to end the movie, and it's like and even though the third act, I think it might have been a little quick, or everything compared to just the first two.
I still like it a lot.
It's like it did. I couldn't have. I don't know of another way that I would have ended it. So like, I don't know what solution or what to put in its place. I think it's just these are the events that had to carry out here.
I don't think it's strictly replacing anything. I think it's extending it. I think that the last act should be longer.
True.
I think because I don't have I don't have problems with the movie stretching. It doesn't feel long. It feels like it hustles at the end, like to get to the end. And I think that the whole back and forth where they're like, and then he led us astray, and we went this way, and then we went that way. Like, there's a whole movie in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the chase of that. Like, that's literally what Fellowship of the Ring is. They did a 3-hour movie about them doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
pretty Lord of the Rings-esque at some point, especially that.
There's a lot there's a lot of fantasy. Well, it's just that fantasy element, Like, I think that it's almost certainly influenced aesthetically from the Lord of the Rings books, and then the Lord of the Rings movies are almost certainly somewhat, when it comes to fantasy, I feel like there's always going to be overlap, but I appreciate the way this plays into those aesthetics more than strictly horror aesthetics. I think I think it's a wise choice. And I think it's something that Nosferatu, for example, could have benefited from. I do appreciate the grand gothic thing that Nosferatu has going on, and Robert Eggers has always motivated himself to maintain a grip on what's real, kind of bringing these horror elements into the real world. I don't know, though, the Northmen, he gets pretty wild with it, and they go to, like a Valhalla and shit like that, but
DMT trip or whatever the hell, ayahuasca, whatever they do, I don't know.
No, but regardless, I think that Nosferatu, I'm excited to revisit it, and it's obvious that this is the paramount influence on that movie, and Yeah, man, I love it. I love it. I don't have much else to say. It's a really simple movie. It's a really simple story. But
just glad I got to see the 4K fucking scaled
gorgeous.
up version. Yeah, it's
Gorgeous.
like thank God for film. And yeah, I guess now digitally, if it's filmed in 4K, like, can it really get much better? But who knows what screen technology is going to be like in 10, 20 years, whatever. Like, the fact that this can always scale up and look just as good or even better over time is really, really cool. And yeah, it was just gorgeous. Actually, just had to rent it because it was on Netflix, and I forgot Netflix finally pooped out. But very easy.
Oh, yeah.
Very glad. I don't know. I felt good to actually pay money to watch like this. Yeah, I miss kind of.
Right.
I miss actually no, I'm gonna pay $1 to Redbox to actually physically have this movie. The rent made me feel a little.
No, I like
that.
renting movies. It's nice, you know. I think that it does harken to the days of old, as in, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s.
Did the money actually go to the
I miss
creators of this
Blockbuster.
movie?
We're
Probably not,
I can't believe we're the last generation that got to go to Blockbuster.
I'm so glad though that we did. Like that's crazy to say that they'll just never know. But
it's a relic of my past too. Like, I was so young the last time I went to Blockbuster. God, what I would give. Dude, it's the shit. But yeah, no, man, I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think that it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. One of my favorite Halloween movies of all time.
Best
when it comes
Francis
to
Ford
October, this
Coppola
is going
movie
to be
of all time.
Yeah, definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite.
Best is a hard. That's tough.
Hard. It's always hard.
But,
it's always a hard line.
But my top one
might be my favorite Winona. I don't know. Ooh. It might be. I haven't given that much thought. I love Winona Ryder though. So that's I mean, Heathers is really where I have a hang up there. I love that movie.
Yeah, Little Women.
Beetlejuice is great, but it doesn't. Not for me.
But...
I haven't watched that version of Little Women. That one I've always heard, and I do need to check it out because I love that cast. I adore that cast. So
Bale.
Christian Bale is Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, he's Laurie. I'm pretty sure that has Susan Sarandon, Kirsten Dunst. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, some goodies in there. So I definitely need to check it out. But yeah, Winona, she's been around the block and she's done some incredible stuff. And I'm glad that Stranger Things kind of gave her the resurgence that it has, because she deserves it. She's still an incredible actress. So, and you know, Beetlejuice last year was fun. May not have been incredible, but goddamn, she was funny. She was great. She had great chemistry with Jenna Ortega. Michael Keaton's always funny. Hard to be like, this is bad. Nah, it's fun. Catherine O'Hara's a hoot. Love her. But yeah, so love Bram Stoker's Dracula. Incredible movie. Any parting thoughts before I do some plugs and then announce what we are doing next week?
I'm just ready to hear what the kind of end is before we get.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm still kind of between a couple. I've got one that I'm leaning towards, so I'm excited to get to it. But I will do the plugs in the meantime. Obviously, this is the Cinementalists. We are going to be concluding our Cinema Surprise era here pretty soon. We are going to be moving to a semi-similar format, but I don't know. I think that Cinema Surprise, as far as marketing is concerned, does a detriment to our ability to promote. So we'll we might establish what we're gonna do next month. I don't know. Who knows? But regardless, Cinementalists, leave a 5-star rate and review, download wherever you might be listening, check us out on YouTube, wherever. We are also doing Fire Pod with Me, a Twin Peaks podcast, friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. I am rewatching it. Joseph is watching it for the first time, and we are currently discussing Twin Peaks: The Return. We've gotten that far, and we've only got 14 weeks left, 15 weeks left, something in that realm. Tons to go. We're going to be going all the way into February. So if you've never watched Twin Peaks, you have to. And if you happen to want to listen to a podcast to go with it, we have one of those. And if you've seen Twin Peaks, go ahead and check it out. Throw us a listen. It's so much fun to listen to Joe spin yarns about the most asinine shit you've ever heard in your life. It's incredible. And I love, feeding him egging him on, and then when he's right about things, ripping the rug out from under him and going, "That's fucking stupid, Joseph. Why would you think such a thing?"
It's the
I've
best
never
show
done
ever.
that.
It's the best show ever.
It's so good. I love that. It is my favorite show of all time. So if you can, go ahead and check out Twin Peaks, and if you want a podcast with it, fire pod with me. We are also doing Geek with Me, not on a regular basis right now. It is kind of semi-weekly. We've been doing every 2 weeks of late. Peacemaker season 2 concluded. And we discussed that. We are going to be doing, is next week the Frankenstein's monster bit, or was that earlier this week?
That will be, I think that's on the 29th, I believe, right? All
right, so that'll be after.
Or
yes,
I guess that will
be after.
I don't know if we did
week.
nail that down, or if it was the 27th.
I'd like it to be as close to Halloween. I would like it to be as close to Halloween as possible.
Yeah.
So if it's the 29th, it'll be not next week, but the week after. So very excited for that. We're gonna do like a comic book character, Frankenstein's monster, like a draft format. We get 10 things to build our ultimate character. If that's costume, if that's personality, if it's, we can get as specific or as vague as we want. That's kind of, if it's a power set, if it's like a specific, like I want Wolverine claws on my left hand, like that's it, or it could be like, I want Spider-Man's sense of humor, it can be anything. And we're going to use all of that
Fantastic
to build
only on my dick. So
exactly,
just extendo dick whenever I want.
Extendo dick. Exactly.
I don't think I'm going there. That one's
I don't
just
think
for
I
this
would
pod.
either.
That's
but
a waste of a 10.
I don't think I would either. But yeah, I mean, elongated man, type shit. It could, we could go there. So yeah, looking forward to that Frankenstein's monster comic book character edition. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's on Geek with Me. So I think with that, I can go ahead and announce what next week's film is going to be. I was between several. I was thinking about throwing it way back. I was thinking about going Bride of Frankenstein. I'm not going to. I'm going to lay out the potentials.
Okay.
I was thinking about going Bride of Frankenstein, because that's one of my favorites of all time. I love Frankenstein stories. Like, when it comes to the classic Halloween character, probably my favorite, even over Dracula and all that. I love Frankenstein's monster. I love the aesthetic of that character. I've loved almost every adaptation I've watched of it. And The Bride of Frankenstein is my favorite Frankenstein movie. But it is a sequel, and it feels wrong to cover it without covering the first one. So that was kind of the logic there. There are tons of great vampire movies, but since you hit Bram Stoker's Dracula, I didn't want to double down on the vampire thing. And so there was that. But I did want to do something classic, and I wanted to do something I haven't seen, because we hadn't done that so far in this little stretch. We knocked out Eraserhead, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I have seen all three. So I wanted to hit something I've never seen, something classic. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm intrigued. One that I grew up horribly afraid of horror movies. I did not want to watch horror movies. They scared the shit out of me, and therefore a lot of the classics, a lot of the essentials never made it around to me, and I still haven't made it around to them unless I choose to, unless I'm going to go out of my way to pick it. So that's what I'm doing this time. Next week we are going to be covering Nightmare on Elm Street.
Let's see if I seen the original, the 1984?
The 84 Nightmare on Elm Street. I want to get some Freddy Krueger. We love our dreamscapes. We love discussing what happens in nightmares and in dreams, and it felt right up that alley for us. I look forward to it. I've never seen it. It's somehow escaped me. But I love the director. I love the aesthetic of. I've always loved that poster. I've never seen the movie, but I've always loved the poster, and I love the idea. I love the concept. So I'm super ready. I'm super down. Next week we are going to be concluding Cinema Surprise with Nightmare on Elm Street, and then on Halloween we've got a nice special episode, and we will announce that next week. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what we got to look forward to. I believe it's available on Max also, so that's a nice accessible one. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, we got that. And yeah, I have not seen the original. I've seen some newer, I think, version or some remake. But yeah, I would have remembered. I feel like Johnny Depp, being in there somewhere. I don't remember him.
Didn't know that. See, that's one of those things. I didn't know that. I've never seen the movie. Never seen the fucking movie. But, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get a classic under the belt. It was kind of between that and Scream was the other one, but we went 90s.
This
we hadn't gone.
Better. I think this was a better.
Same
choice.
Director though.
Yeah. Have you seen Scream? I guess.
No. Oh. No, that was why I was debating.
Wow.
I know.
I know
Ghostface. I know who Ghostface is or who they are. So that was kind of the thing too, is I know so little about Nightmare on Elm Street, and I know plenty about Scream, so that was the other thing.
Yeah, Freddy's. I don't know. There's like that. That's the only kind of thing I know is the creepy song.
Lock the door. Yeah. I guess that's all I know too. I kind of forget that that's Freddy Krueger. They also have a Rick and Morty bit on that, don't they?
Oh,
Coming
yeah.
for you, bitch.
That's probably where most of my Freddy Krueger knowledge actually comes from, is from the Rick and Morty. Oh, wow. Thank you for putting that together. Yeah, that's so
funny. But yeah, nice Nightmare on Elm Street next week, the week before Halloween. So exciting. And that's what we've got. That's what we've got on the docket. So we'll be back next week with Nightmare on Elm Street. And with that, we will conclude this episode of The Cinementalists. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I'm going to conclude with my favorite line of the movie. I love you too much to condemn you.